when I was taking the graduate economics that year that I tried to stick around for next year to high jump, they had a class. This was one of my favorite economics classes. The entire class was different decision-making processes for that issue. So there's first in, first out. And they were talking like about orders at companies. First in, first out, last in, first out, big one, first out, minimizing maximum regret, which means that you always want to minimize the worst possible thing. There's also minimizing, what is it? Minimizing standard regret. So like you could, if you've got 15 customers and everything is running 2 days behind, either you can satisfy all 14 of your customers, and then one of them, you move them to way to the end of the list and they're going to hate you. Or you can make it so everybody's 2 days late. This is one of the things that makes me think that I have just a tiny touch of the TISM, because I totally get off on all that sort of stuff. And I don't know if I've ever told you this, but this is from when I was a child. Like I had Matchbox cars and I would put them on the floor, and then I would move the front one forward an inch or two, then the next one, then the next one. And I would do this all the way around the house for days at a time. And then when I was in junior high, I started this system with my clothes that lasted until my mom died, and I've stopped doing it since then. But it was that when I take some clean clothes from the dryer, I put those in on the left side of my closet, and then the clothes that I'm going to wear, I take off on the right side of the closet. I do the same thing with vitamins, that I have more vitamins than I usually take every day. So the extra ones are in a list, are like in a closet in a certain order, and they move up the ranks toward the front. And when I write the book about, I hope it's okay to talk about this, when I write the book about my mom dying, that's one of the things I'm going to talk about, is how when we die, some of the things that die with us are quirks. You know, like there's my ability to write books, you know, that'll be gone when I die, but there's also all these things that like nobody but me knows, that just these tiny little quirks that, and it's the same with every non-human friend I've ever had, you know. A fairy who died last year, if you give her a treat, before she would take the treat, and she was never growling, but before she would take the treat, she would put her mouth into the shape of a growl. And, you know, it's just, you know, every animal has those little, I'm sure it's the same with wild animals, we just don't see them as much. And anyway, that's one of my quirks my entire life has been, oh, one summer, I stopped doing this because it was just too ridiculous. But one summer when I was, I don't know, 8 or 9, I could only take books from the left side of the bookshelf. So any book I wanted to read had to go in on the right side of the bookshelf and make its way all the way across. And I quit doing that because by the time I got to a book that I'd wanted to read, it's like 3 years later. So that one only lasted for about a year because it was so inconvenient. But I'm just obsessed with the whole first in, first out thing. I'll say one more thing, which is I don't feel like I have OCD about it, because it doesn't freak me out or make me unhappy if my system gets messed up. It just brings me a tremendous sense of peace and calm and even happiness to do those little systems.